सद्गुरु श्री गजानन महाराज की जय. Namaskar. I am Atul Kokardekar. I feel blessed to present the English Pothi of Shri Gajanan Maharaj. With Maharaj's blessings, I hereby start. Sadguru Shri Gajanan Maharaj ki jai. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Jai to the divinity we showers joyous tidings. Govind Srinivas, embodiment of all blessings. Hope of the downtrodden, save me, O Keshava. Keshi Mardan, Madhav, Madhusudan, O killer of Putna, Pandurang, consort of Rukmini. I need not say what I want from thee. Scripts say you fulfill desires of devotees. I beseech you to grant my wishes and be kind to me. A devotee from Mungaon near Akot named Baijabai was the daughter of Bhulabai and Shivram Mali. She was married in her childhood early. Everything happens as per one's destiny. When Baijabai come of age, her father took her to his son-in-law's place, but it had no significance, as Baijabai's husband was not potent. Parents of Baijabai were deeply affected. Bhulabai, her mother, even suggested that Baijabai be married to another person. Shivram, the father, did not concur. He said masculinity sometimes came late, so they decided to wait and let Baija be at her husband's place, expecting that medicines may help. Both of them returned to their village. Baija, who was 16 years of age, with her honey-toned complexion, she presented a youthful image, endowed with her beautiful eyes, a sharp nose, and a tall figure. She enjoyed the power of attract the attention of any person. Her elder brother-in-law was enchanted by her splendor and earnestly desired to make love to her. He tried many ways of persuasion, even a promise to treat her as his wife. His attempt to seduce her were wasted. Burdened by his torture, she prayed, "O God, why am I subject to such conflict when I have worshipped you from my childhood? My devotion brought me no fruit. The person I married has no manhood. I know my fate in a way it is great. Now I can entirely concentrate and devote myself to your feet. Now my only request is that no other man touches me." One night her brother-in-law came to her to let her know of his evil intentions. Baija turned down his overtures by calling him a shameless creature. She reminded him that a husband's elder brother has a relationship as good as a father. His behavior thus should be as worthy as a father. But ignoring her remarks, he tried to grab her in his arms. Suddenly he heard a thudding sound of his elder son falling to the ground. He fell from the first floor to the base, causing a great wound on his forehead. Baija picked up the child in her lap and dressed his wound with a medical wrap. Baija told her brother-in-law to learn a lesson and not covet other women with passion. Looking at the condition of his son, he regretted his shabby action and did not bother Baija thereafter. Shivram took her back to Mundgaon. Her mother suggested that they go to Shigaon and ask Gajanan the future of her daughter. So they all went to Shigaon, prostrating before Maharaj. The parents requested the son to bless Baija to have an infant. Maharaj smiled and replied, "She is not destined to have a child. All men in the world are like father to her. Better forget she is married anymore." Shivram was sorry to hear this from Maharaj. Soon they all returned to Mungaon. Baija was happy to know of what was in store for her. With this visit, she became the son's resolved follower. Baija started visiting Shigaon with Pundik, a disciple from Mungaon. Her parents did not object to these trips. They hoped this may bring back her marital bliss. They cherish a faint hope in their minds that Baija's man would become potent by the blessings. But her visits to Shigao with Pundlik germinated doubts in the minds of the public. People even started spreading rumors that under the grab of religious executions, Baija and Pundlik were enjoying physical satisfaction. They openly pointed out the caste diversity. Pundlik was Maratha and Baija was of Mali community. A great hue and cry was raised to break their attachment, but both of them were pure at heart. Bhulabai scolded Baija for this association, saying their young men and women come together for nothing else but physical satisfaction. She even advised Shivram to get her husband from their clan. Bhulabai took Baija to Gajanan Maharaj to find out the reason for the association. She believed that sons knew everything, and when asked, they would tell. Maharaj was like sandalwood, which will never emit a bad smell. Pundlik, Baija, Bhulabai, and Shivram, they all went together to Shigao. Maharaj looked at Pundlik and said with a smile, Pundlik, Baija was your sister in your previous life. Don't deny her affection. Even if it attracts public condemnation, you both together worship God. Bhulabai, you should not obstruct that. She is the sister of Pundlik, not his wife. She is not destined to have a husband this life. She will ever remain a maid like Janabai of Pandharpur, who got Namdev as her guru. Like that, Baija is one among the few. She has surrendered to me. From now on, she is my Janabai. Hearing these words, Shivram was overwhelmed. He could not speak a word after all that was said. Next day, they returned to Mundgaon with Baija. No one thereafter objected to her visit to Shigao. Every time Pundlik was her escort. No one ever bothered about that. The son's kindness evident stopped the criticism around. Here is a tale how Maharaj always protect his devotees from the dreadful spells. Dr. Bhau Rajaram Kawar was in charge of Khangaon Hospital. He got a nasty void on his body. Eminent doctors were brought from Amravati, Akola and Buldana cities to treat this discomforting malady. All efforts with medicines, even surgery, failed to bring relief to the state. Bhau was restless, laying in the bed due to unbearable pain. His elder brother was concerned over Bhau's discomfort. There was no alternative left at all, except remembering Sri Gajanan Maharaj. Thinking so, they folded their hands and prayed to Sri Gajanan Maharaj to come to his rescue and cure him of the pain. It was midnight and pitch darkness covered the sky with foxes howling nearby when a hooded cart drawn by two bullocks came to the doctor's door by luck. A Brahmin from the cart came and knocked at the door. The elder brother opened it, asking the purpose of the stopover. The Brahmin said he was Gaja and he came from Shigao. He said he has brought Tirtha and Angara for Bhau Kawar. He advised to apply Angara to the boy and let Bhau sip the Tirtha awhile. He left the things with the brother and went away, saying that he had no time to stay. Hearing this, Bhau sent a man to call back the person. He could not be traced nor the bullock cart. They could not be found as they disappeared fast. Bhau applied Angara to the boy, which immediately burst, throwing out the infection. The fluid oozed out within an hour, bringing sound sleep to Bhau Rajaram Kawar. Subsequently, he was completely cured and went to Shigao to see the scene. Smiling at Bhau, Maharaj said, "Look up, That night you did not even give grass to my bullocks. Bhau understood that the visitor that night was Maharaj. As a token of his gratitude, he fed the people of Shegaon. Once Maharaj left for Pandharpur to visit God Vithala on the banks of Chandrabhaga river. Many devotees accompanying him. Special trains for Pandharpur were scheduled. This was for a comfortable travel of the crowd. The occasion was Ashadi Ekadashi. First stop on the journey was at Nagziri. Jaguaba, Patil, Bapuna Kale and many more were with Maharaj on this tour. There is an underground cave at Nagziri where springs of natural water flow freely, yielding the name to the place as Nagziri. The great Sant Gomaji Maharaj had attained communion with God at this vulnerable spot. He was the first Guru of Maharaji Patil who got blessing of this divinity for welfare and prosperity of the Patil dynasty. That is why the Patils of Shegaon visit Nagziri before they move on. They pay respects to Gomaji before they proceed by train as Warkari to the holy city of Pandharpur. With Maharaj on this tour were Bapuna and 50 others. It was the 9th day of Ashad in the waxing moon, and thousands of devotees started reaching Pandharpur under a cloudy sky drizzling but with no downpour. Pandharpur appeared like a heaven on earth with a sea of humidity in its grip. Every inch of space meant for going round the temple was jammed with Warkaris, chanting Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari. The entire atmosphere was charged with devotion. When palanquins of various sons came in procession, they were of Nath, Nivrutti, Dhaneshwar and Janardhan. Also where there are Savata, Gora Kumbhar, Sopan, Muktabai and Shri Tukaram Devkar. Devotees threw up bukka in the air to offer respect to them at the festival. The sky was filled with bukka powder, spreading its fragrance all over. They threw tulsi leaves and flowers on the palanquins in that festive atmosphere. When Maharaj reached Pandharpur, he stayed at Kukaji Patil's house, which stands on the Pradakshina route. A huge crowd gathered around the temple, with police force protecting law and order. On the day of the festival, with Hari Patil, all Shegaon people, except Bapuna, went to the temple. Bapuna was taking bath and thus was held back. When his bath was over, he learned that everyone had gone to the temple. He hurried to join them there with the crowd around. He could not reach anywhere near. Helplessly, he offered God a prayer. O Vithala, Rishikesh, why are you displeased with me? Why don't you allow me to enjoy your blessings? You went to An to give darshan to Saukamani. Panduranga, come from the temple to meet me. An was 16 miles away. I am just at your gate. People call you helper of the helpless. Then why are you ignoring me? Thus he prayed and the last disappointed, returned to Kukaji's establishment. He had no food and the disappointed mood made him look pale and sunken. So intense was his desire to see Vithala that his mind hovered over the temple. People jeer at him, calling him the unfortunate example. They tease him, saying, "You came here to visit the stalls and not see the idol?" Some say he was a hypocrite, not an unfortunate at all. Others taunted that he knew Vedanta well and needed not to visit the temple. For Vedantas, God is in their hearts, not idols. They believe that only fools go to the temple. People ridicule him, saying, "His God for him stands on the street. Then why did he came here at all? He should have called Vithala to Shegaon." These Vedantas advise others without the fragment of experience. They preach without practice. They do not understand that self-realization is possible only by worshipping the visible. How can one attain adulthood without experiencing childhood? Bapuna received such criticism. No one protected him from this sarcasm. He sat quiet without taking any food. Maharaj, watching the events, and understood his mood. Sant recognized the plight of the unfortunate. Lucky are those who get a chance to be near. Maharaj said, Bapuna, don't worry. I will just now show you Rukmini Ramana Panduranga Hari. Saying so, Maharaj stood up and positioned his feet like Vithala, with hands on his vest like the idol. Bapuna saw him in this form, with garlands of tulsi and flowers around his neck. Bapuna prostrated himself in front of this image. When he looked up, it was Maharaj again. He was happy at this darshan of the deity. When he went to the temple subsequently, he saw the same idol in that position, as was shown by Maharaj in Kokaji's residence. When people came to know of this incident, they requested Maharaj to bless them with the same darshan. Maharaj replied, like Bapuna, hold your mind. The darshan is not an ordinary kind, like a commodity at the marketplace. It requires an attitude of pious faith, just as seen in Bapuna's case, to get a darshan of such consequence. Maharaj revived Vithoba to Bapuna because he was a real sant. There is no difference between a sant and God. It is like sugar and the sweet taste. One cannot be separated from the other. After sharing prasad, they returned to Shegaon with the blessings of Vithoba. Bapuna got a son who grew up to be an intelligent person. Services to the sons never go west. Bapuna's son was named as Namdev, as he came with the blessings of Vithoba Dev. A devotee from Kawata Bahadur of Vidarbha had also lodged himself at Tukaji's Vada. On the next day of Ekadashi fair, cholera gripped Pandharpur with the flare. Thousands of people were dying there. The police authorities asked people to leave the scared town. Doctors too said they should move out soon. The authority even drove them out as a precaution. The villagers of Kawata Bahadur caught the infection. He suffered from vomiting and loose motions. His vigor was lost and he became weak. No one gave him any medicine, nor did they inform doctors for fear of police. Everyone left, abandoning him to the fate of death. When you flourish, people are your friends. Adversity brings dire desertion. This always has been the general equation. God and sons come to help in such a situation, looking to the devotee lying helpless. Maharaj asked people to take him with them. He is nearly dead, they said. We too will face difficulty in our outreach. We are 50. Cholera is spreading like wildfire in the city. Under the circumstances, we live for our own safety. We cannot stay here even for a day. Let us leave this place immediately. Maharaj said, it is foolish of the tour band to abandon a sick brother from your land. He went out and caught the hand of the devotee, helped him to sit up and said with certainty, come with me to Vidarbha, we go. The devotee moaned, I cannot even move. I am on a deathbed with no relations now. Maharaj assured, don't get scared. The danger to your life is now over. Saying so, he put his hand on the devotee's head. His symptoms vanished with that touch. He felt strong and stood up. How can death take away a person when he is in the shadow of sun's protection? He recovered within an hour and joined his people on the return tour. Rescued from fear of death and all that pain, he prostrated before Maharaj again and again. The devotee from Kawata Bahadur remarked, Swamiji, You brought me back. I was in the jaws of death. He cheered to the glory of the sun again. All devotees in Pandharpur entourage with Sri Gajanan Maharaj returned safe to the town of Shegao. They had Sant Gajanan as their escort. An Orthodox Brahmin once came to Shegao for the darshan of Sri Gajanan Maharaj. He heard of the greatness of the sun and arrived there from the far-off place. Being a very orthodox person, he did not tolerate being touched by anyone. After looking at Maharaj, he regretted to have come all the way to see his Sant. He branded Maharaj as a crazy person, behaving contrary to established traditions. He did not appreciate people worshipping such a devotion. He saw a dog laying dead on the way to the well and did not go further, muttering to himself, "No one removes the dead dog from there. They are all ganja smokers. I am a fool to have traveled here." Maharaj heard this and to the Brahmin he said, "Don't harbor any doubts. The dog is not dead. Go perform your worship as you desire." The Brahmin retorted, "I am not crazy like you, sir. The dog is dead, laying here for an hour. No one remove it. No one cares." Maharaj said, "We are ignorant and spoiled. We don't possess wisdom so bright. Follow me to the well with your teacher." With his feet he touched the dog laying there. It stood up and took to his heel. The Brahmin was spellbounded indeed. He fell prostrate at Maharaj's feet and begged pardon for his misdeeds. He served food to the devotees that day. After taking prasad, he went away. We hope these details will bring happiness to all devotees. Sadguru Sri Gajanan Maharaj ki Jai. This English pothi was translated by Sri Shankar Pandit. Please share this video so that maximum devotees can avail Maharaj's blessings.